Hey, it's Jake Newton, CPPS.com. If you're unfamiliar with me, I'm the Chief of Operations for the company. We've been hearing a lot lately, and I'm sure it's been on your mind to a certain degree, but the tumultuous nature of this season is definitely something that's on the top of many's minds and part of the mainstream discussion. But I want to talk a little bit about that from our area of expertise as it pertains to something you might be doing on a day-to-day basis. And one of those things is, what does it look like to partner with law enforcement for the safety and security of the individuals within your workplace? One of the areas that we're constantly working with our clients is holistically violence prevention, but even kind of when you look at the extreme aspect of that, active assailant preparedness issues, we look at it from the lens of what we call the 3 R's: readiness, response, and recovery. And when we look at the readiness capability of this issue, specifically to help facilitate response and recovery, is the relationship with law enforcement or first responders categorically. And what does it look like to get their assistance or have them be a part of the program or get familiarity with what you're trying to accomplish, so that if in the unlikely event an incident were to occur, you can maximize that partnership or hopefully facilitate a more effective response. Law enforcement, even to some degree, have some capabilities they can provide even from a prevention standpoint. So the first part of this is, one, do you have a threat management team in place? And secondly, does your threat management team know what kind of resources law enforcement might be able to provide from that standpoint? There are some things that they can do, and perhaps maybe it's communicating with them about a trespass that has been provided or issued. There's a lot of different things and support, or even sometimes it's just information sharing, having that relationship so they can provide some additional perspective based upon the incident at hand. When we start talking about planning and preparedness for the active assailant issue, there's also a lot of different capabilities that they can provide in that regard as well. The biggest thing, one of the starting places, if nothing else, is have them come on site and have a discussion with them. And at a high level, ask the question of, what kind of capabilities do you have? Help us understand what kind of support you could provide in terms of helping us be ready for this kind of thing. And they're going to have a whole series of recommendations. But at the same time, it's a good question to ask them, what kind of things would be helpful for you to have should you have to respond to this kind of an incident? Here's a few examples. Having emergency kit bags or emergency kits available to facilitate their response when they arrive on site. Asking them what kind of contents that might be valuable for them and where those might be staged, or how you might need to stage those so they can actively be utilized should something occur. What does that look like? What kinds of things do they need to know about your facility or your campus? Maybe walking them through, giving them some familiarity. We have several organizations that will even have law enforcement come on site and say, if you need to write a report, or if you need a safe place to be able to, when you're on patrol, be able to take care of some of your business, feel free to park in our parking lot, or feel free to use this office over here while you're doing those sorts of things. It all helps kind of build that relationship. Including them in exercises. When you're training as your team internally, and you're starting to build your maturity and your readiness in this kind of a program, have them see if they can participate. Even during that time, sometimes there's different synergies that arise as part of having some of them on site and being able to talk through what some of these different issues might look like. What are their capabilities? What might be limiting factors? To include, as an example, how long might it take them to arrive on site? All things normal. So there's a lot of different value that they can provide. And at a very minimum, it's so fantastic. I can't recommend it enough to have a relationship with your local law enforcement to identify what kind of resources they could provide, what kind of resources you could provide, and ultimately building that partnership. And for what it's worth, even going beyond your local law enforcement, it's important to recognize, are there potential federal level offices close by, or other law enforcement agencies that might have applicability based upon your scope of work, the work that you're doing, and where there be some potential jurisdiction there, and being aware of that, because once an incident occurs, you want to be able to the best extent that you can, have recognition of the field, so to speak, of what that incident response is going to look like. So walking through some of these different things, ultimately when we work with clients, we put all of this kind of guidance in the actual protocol. So at a site-specific level, we have different individuals at the site. If it's not, say, a crisis management team going through this process, we can tailor these plans to our individual site and our individual locale. So we maximize the opportunity for readiness all the way down to the site level, and then even beyond that to the individual level, recognizing what are individual response protocols. If somebody's part of the response team, what are their roles and responsibilities? And what does that entire process look like? It's all formalized, but law enforcement can oftentimes help a lot of that process. So if you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out, and we can help guide or provide different information about things that we've seen as being successful over the years. But the baseline of it is build a relationship with your local law enforcement counterparts and collectively first responders, medical, and those sorts of things, so you can identify how they can support your response and what are their capabilities should an incident occur. So that's all for now. CPPS.com if you want to reach out to us. Otherwise, until next time. Thanks.